everybody, I'm Michael Monaco.
And I'm Bobby Salveson, and we are the HazMat Guys, bringing you the knowledge and insight to make your job a little bit easier and safer. But before today's show, let's listen to our sponsors. Hey guys, when you're on a HazMat run, we want you to be safe. We want you to feel confident that you have the best equipment available and that you are ready to respond. That's where All Safe Industries comes to mind. They have technical experts on staff that offer the latest in detection and emergency response equipment from the most reputable brands in the industry. All Safe Industries takes the time to understand your needs, and they offer unique options in their in-case calibration gas detection kits. They also hold a GSA contract and offer GSA pricing to state and local agencies. All Safe Industries is veteran-owned and has been serving first responders from coast to coast since 1996. Visit allsafeindustries.com or call 888-972-3389. That spells 8889-SAFETY. Hey guys, you know we say it all the time. In emergency responses, clear and reliable radio communication is essential. And that's why Cavcom's award-winning Talk Through Your Ears technology is compatible with any two-way radio, any suit, and any respirator. Visit CavComInc.com, that's CAVCOMINC.com, or call them at 866-547-4988.
Now let's get into the show.
Hey everybody, welcome back. This is episode 184, where Bob and myself are talking about overturned 331s, propane. We've got some chemistry, we've got some physics. Well, it's actually all physics. Just so you know, everything is all physics. For you people that are out there, the physics makes the world go round. We're going to get right back into where we were, and we were talking about leaks. We were talking about 331 skidding across. You know what? If you didn't listen to last week's episode, go ahead.
You have to.
We'll wait.
We'll wait. We'll wait here. Go back.
Okay. All right, good. We done? So we were talking about the leaking. We were talking about the different things that we could do if this was leaking. We didn't even touch anything that we would actually do. What is some of the options that we could do if this bad boy were leaking?
Right. So, and this is a new topic. For guys that have been in the industry for a long time, and maybe even the newer guys that maybe didn't even know that this is a possibility, let's talk about water injection.
Ooh.
Right? This is a new topic. I will say relatively. Some guys are like, this is old hat, blah, blah, blah. This is kind of new to me. I've seen it done a couple of times. I like the technique. It is a little bit...
I think it's becoming mainstream.
It is becoming mainstream.
Because there's now kind of a... Like before, it was kind of like the really smart guys in the room figured out how to do it, and they knew how to do it, but nobody else was really trained on how to do it. And now there's training going on.
And to be honest with you, there's only one guy that's doing it. I hate to say it.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I haven't really seen anybody else. Ron Huffman.
Mike Monaco. Oh, yeah, Ron.
Oh. Yeah. Ron Huffman is the guy that's doing it. So if you got any more, listen, we're gonna probably butcher water injection as comparison to him, but he's trailblazing us.
He's literally trailering. Trailering. He is literally trailering across the country with this giant freaking propane trailer that he's just and we watched him build it, and it's phenomenal. But
why don't you just explain what is? Give us the snapshot of what water injection is. Why does it mean something to me as a technician?
So the basic concept, it literally boils down to chemical physical properties, and it's the simplest idea and concept. We do it when we do over damming or under damming or anything along those lines, is that when you have two liquids that are of different densities, especially a hydrocarbon and a non-hydrocarbon, and they kind of get together and chill, they instantly stratify based upon their weight.
Yep.
And it just so happens that when it comes to leaks on the low end of whatever container you're on, if this container happened to be flipped over on its side and it had a crack in the where it was skidding along the road,
right,
then the underside would be the spot on the road. That's where it would be leaking.
Okay.
If I were to somehow able to overcome that head pressure that Bob was talking about earlier, that is created by temperature and vapor pressure. If I was able to overcome that pressure, I could actually insert water into the container that the propane is in. Mm-hmm. The two liquids are going to come together. They're going to hate each other, right? And the water is going to fall to the bottom because it's heavier. If you can do this in the right ratio, where you're putting in the same amount of liquid that is coming out, at some point your liquid leak no longer becomes a liquid leak of propane. It becomes a liquid leak of water.
Ah, there is your solution, where it's almost like an internal patch of water.
Right.
Good God, that's a good idea.
It's a cool idea. It's a cool concept. Now, the reason that I wouldn't recommend trying it until you've had, Ronnie Boy kind of walk you, kind of show you the ropes is that you have to take a water line from your fire truck, from your engine, and you have to attach it to a propane truck, and you have to open up the valves. And if you don't do that right, if you don't balance out those pressures, if you don't have more pressure in your water line, you're going to fill your truck with propane. Right? And I'm sure there's some kind of I'm sure the system that he teaches, there's backflow devices and stuff like that for that. I don't know that 100%. I could be making that up, and he's going, no, I don't do that shit. I should. If you do too much pressure, now you're increasing a pressure within a damaged tank. So the concept seems easy, but like all things that are easy, there's devils in the details.
Totally. Now, that's one operation that we can do. What's another one that I can do?
We could burn this shit off.
Okay, which is called a flare.
A flare,
right?
Yes.
That's the general term of what we're doing here. So now a vapor burn versus a liquid burn in a flare stack setup.
Okay. One is really cool to watch, and one is like, eh.
Yeah. And the thing is are you on overtime? Because one is slower and one is faster. No, I won't say that, but what I will say is that a lot of guys get too into the weeds with this thing. When you have liquid propane, whatever the hell it is, flowing through these tubes, they cool the tubes. All right, if you think about it in like a fire scenario, if I had a hose line flowing through a fire, the hose line probably wouldn't blow. What I'm saying this is that the water that's flowing through the hose is probably going to keep it cool from the inside in, like your SCBA facepiece.
Right.
If you go into a fire, the thing doesn't melt, even though you're looking at the fire, because of the air that's splashing across the thing. So these hoses have liquefied, super chilled gas, liquid going through it, and it probably is going to keep it very cool.
It does.
Flaring just kind of exemplifies it. You can do vapor and do it slow, or you can do it 270 times faster in a liquid move. But again, you're 270 times faster. You can't do this in the middle of Bushwick.
Well,
whatever. If nobody's looking, I'm sure you can.
We shouldn't have.
So another option, and flaring is a very easy option, is transferring. Yeah. Now, this has its own set of problems. So, Mike, why don't we talk about, we have a 331 on its side. Liquid leaking. We want to transfer it. We call for the propane truck, the empty propane truck. And I want to say that empty very importantly, because if you're the instant command and you call, hey, I need another propane truck, they will show up with a full one.
Yeah. To the brim. All 80%.
And you got to be, no. You have to ask for a 331 rated for propane that is empty. Make sure you say that.
Yes.
And so now it comes there is, what do we do?
Well, it depends on the equipment that you have on hand.
Okay.
And I think it would also depend on how severe the leak is, right? Because but we'll get into the severity of the leak later. Let's. What can we do? One of the things, hopefully, a piece of equipment that you have is going to be something called like a Wilden pump, or I believe that's the manufacturer. The technical term is a double diaphragm pump. And
pneumatic.
Pneumatic, yeah.
Right,
yeah, you don't want to be hand cranking a 331. Unless you really are on overtime, and you can just, yeah, no, not for me. So you want a pneumatic double diaphragm air pump, and some of these bad boys go up to like 180 gallons per minute, and they really do 180 gallons per minute. And they can do flammables. They push vapors, they push liquids, they do it all.
Right.
So that is definitely probably, if I couldn't do the other option that we're going to talk about, I would probably, this would be the option that I would want, would be my double diaphragm pump.
Well, a lot of these trucks have a internal pump.
Right.
A liquid transfer pump. Now, when we move a liquid in a propane, we were talking about the head pressure. And even when the tank is empty, it has the same head pressure. It doesn't matter if it has 1 gallon or 1 million gallons.
Yes, which interestingly enough is why you can't use pressure to see how full your tank is.
Exactly. That's that gimmick that Home Depot sells, and it says, you put it on your propane tank, it says full, empty. That's a gimmick.
Yeah.
Tell your friends and family.
The only way to know for sure is if there's no fire.
Yeah, well, yeah, the fire or weight. Weight tells you what's going on, but that's why that scale thing, whatever. Anyway. So the existing pumps work, but there has to be a flow back of pressure. So you have to actually equalize the pressure in the tanks.
Right.
Now, we can take the pressure, right, and we can equalize it through the vapor lines or whatever it might be. Once we have the two tanks balanced, the liquid move is very easy as long as we're replacing it with an equal amount of volume of vapor, right? So pumps work pretty good.
Yeah.
Now, another technique, please explain,
all right, so
is using pressure.
It is using pressure differential. Now, this is not necessary. This would be like my absolute last option.
This is hard.
This is hard. This is hard for a couple of different reasons. One, you could potentially be releasing product into the atmosphere. So
yes.
The idea would be, in like a super duper, we have no other choice. We have to get pressure off this tank. It's going to blow. We have to whatever. You have the potential to connect one tank to another, basically open up the recovery tank, drop the pressure to zero, in relation to the atmosphere, and then the head pressure in the damaged truck is going to push the liquid into your new truck.
Yeah, it's like a pressure pump.
It's like a pressure, right? It's like its own little pressure pump. Now, this is well and good, and most of that product will transfer because you're releasing into the atmosphere, but you are releasing vapor into the atmosphere. So it is something that you would want to be concerned about. You could always flare that vapor coming off of your recovery vessel. That way you're not, creating an existing problem. But now you're then dealing with open flames in somewhere relation to a leaking liquid tank somewhere. So it would be definitely a last resort. But you could transfer product just using pressure differential.
Right. You might have to burp the nurse tank, the good tank, in order to drop the pressure so that the bad tank is higher pressure.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
right. Well,
there's a little bit more to that.
That's when you would be opening it up to the atmosphere. Because you're literally, the existing pumps, you've got a closed system, pressure's going from one to the other. In the differential one, you have to just release to the atmosphere.
And let me tell you, in industry, they do this crap all the time.
Oh, yeah.
This is like the main way of them doing this thing. It's like, you go to like I I don't know, hospital. The hospital, that's how they fill their oxygen tanks. And that's how this is what they do. Now, another thing that we can possibly do is we can use like a freeze plug, right? We can do what, I don't know, I could wrap something around that leaking valve. And I what I'm talking about is like literally a t-shirt. Like cotton. Right? I mean, anything. Seriously, anything. And a 2.5 gallon water can finishes this thing up, freezes it into a solid block, and really slows down. To think as a hazmat tech that your operation is going to definitively stop it for all eternity is foolish.
Crazy. It's crazy.
It's foolish. So what I'm trying to do as a hazmat tech is to slow it down until I can get it done. So this technique will work until atmospheric pressure, atmospheric temperature comes up and it's not effective anymore. The product leaking over it will go over it and warm it up, and it will make it not effective anymore. Add more reasons why here, because it's a million.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
The plugs, the freeze plug definitely works. It has its limitations. A little bit better is it a little bit better on a liquid leak or on a vapor leak? I think a vapor leak it's a little bit better.
Yeah, it's more on the vapor because there's a phase change that happened. If the liquid leak happens, the liquid leak is going to happen post-plug.
Post-plug.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not going to vaporize until it comes on the outside of that plug.
Right.
That's not a good thing. You've heard us talk about First Line Technologies' Dahlgren Decon solution and their FiberTech wipes and mitts. They've just come out with Enhanced Decon Systems Kit, which contains everything you need to quickly decontaminate 6 to 24 operators and all their gear in one fully equipped grab-it-and-go bag. This kit has been HazMat team tested and approved, and it's the only full-team modified decon kit with the power of Dahlgren Decon and FiberTech wipes to counter hundreds of known and emerging threats. The EDS kit is perfect for incidents where a small footprint, low logistics decontamination SOP is appropriate. Are you operating in a harsh environment? No problem. Whether it's minus 10 or 104 degrees F, Dahlgren Decon will maintain its effectiveness and can be easily applied to neutralize threats. The kit is stable in temperatures from minus 40 to 160 degrees F if you carry the RSDL with you. If you use all the consumables in the kit, unlike other rapid deployment kits, you do not need to buy a complete kit to resupply. Just purchase one of the First Line EDS replenishment packs and order just the elements you need. When ounces count and the clock is ticking, grab the EDS kit and go. Call the guys at First Line Technology for more information or a quote at 703-955-7510 or email them at sales@firstlinetech.com.
There's also another technique out there. I haven't ever played with it because we just don't have the propane that other places do. But some companies have fiberglass wraps that you can wrap around. Those are much better on vapor leaks. Not so much with the liquid leak. So
yeah.
It may apply, it may not. It all just kind of depends. And then if it's not in the PRD, the pressure relief device, you should definitely be trying that emergency shutoff switch.
Why wouldn't you?
Why wouldn't you? I mean,
seriously, that's a slap button to success.
It should be your go-to anytime you have a belly leak. Just boom, right to the emergency shutoff. So, all right, so we kind of went through a lot of the stuff that we would do as technicians on scene. But let's not forget that many times half of our job is telling others what they should be doing while we're responding.
Right.
So what would be some things, Bob, that you would, you're on resource, you're on the phone with these guys, you hear the scenario, and you're like, okay, I want to make sure that you guys have this in place by the time we get there.
Totally. And this is a checklist. This is easy to do on the phone, on the roll. Fog lines. I want 2 to 3 fog lines on the upwind side.
Right. Well, you want to cool the tank, right?
No. I want to push vapors. and we said this in episode 1. I said that, thank you for reminding me, is that the groundwater that comes out of the ground in general is like 55 degrees Fahrenheit.
Right.
In general. So if you're talking about, and I'll use New York City as the guinea pig. If it's a 90-degree day out and I put 55-degree water on it, it is cooling the tank, reducing pressure. If it is a 30, 20, 15-degree day out and I put 55-degree water on it, it is increasing the pressure and making my leak worse. So, the application of water is not always justified.
Yes. That's
Huge concept.
That's especially true if you have a large liquid leak and you have auto-refrigerated product pooling.
You're making the problem worse.
You're going to make the problem a lot worse.
And a lot of chiefs are like, I always put water on leaking tank. They are just robots to this moniker. It's not true.
Yes. Yeah.
So
all right, what would be your thought process? Or maybe I'll just describe my thought process. I'll answer my own question. All right.
Go.
So I have a liquid.
Wrong.
I have a auto-refrigerated liquid on the ground. And I know there are some vapors coming off, but I am acutely aware at this point, because I listened to the show, that I should not be putting a water line over them because I'm going to rapidly warm that up and create a tremendous vapor cloud that I will not be able to push around with my little hose line.
Right. Okay, so it depends on the size of the puddle.
It depends on the size of the puddle, but I think, personally, those vapors are going to go somewhere. So I would probably go downhill, downwind a little bit, and wait until I am in an area where I can actually disperse the vapors with that hose line and not come in contact with that liquid.
Totally. If I start throwing water on top of this thing, first off, I'm making it angry. It's going to come up into vapor. Third off, it's going to lift because the water's going to fall to the bottom. It's basically a water injection outside, and it's going to lift it up, and I might overwhelm whatever berm was holding it, and now I have a problem that's a quarter mile down the road.
Yeah. And that
No
happens,
bueno.
That happens really quick. That whole idea of the water going through, I'm going to just explain something real quick as to why that's a really bad idea. So you apply the water's at 50 degrees. Well,
okay.
We're pretending, right? 55 degrees. And your temperature of your auto-refrigerated liquid is minus 144. The only spot that heat is currently transferring, when you talk about thermodynamics, is at that interface.
Interface.
Right? The moment I put the water on top of the propane and water are going to switch sides.
Right.
But they don't just they're not like, the water's not going to the edge and then going under. They're literally going to go through each other.
Yep.
That interface now goes from a surface-to-surface contact to an integrated intermingling of the molecules.
Rapid cooling and heating.
That heat transfer is freaking instantaneous.
Yep.
And you will create a massive vapor cloud within a blink of an eye.
Yep. Totally.
So
totally.
That's the physics behind why you shouldn't put water on an auto-cooled puddle of propane.
Yeah, so, I mean, just to get back to the question, you said fog line.
Fog line.
A fog line is I want to push those vapors. I want to secure the area if I haven't done it already. Employee PD, operations level, awareness level, whatever it might be. Secure that area. And what about buildings?
Oh, like evacuation?
Totally.
Yeah, I did. That is definitely something that they should start to consider, because I guess I would ask them, do you smell anything? Do me a favor, walk around, take 300 feet, walk around and tell me if you smell anything. Because I'm assuming that they do not have meters. They may not. Some do, some don't. Go to your ERG, get that isolation distance. Whatever that isolation distance is, go 100 feet past there. Do a 360. Do you smell anything?
Right.
Yeah, I'm getting a real strong smell downwind. Okay, we need to consider evacuation in that downhill area.
I will say, again, we're not all living in trailers are 1-story houses. What happens if you have a 6-story, 20-story, 400-story building? Do I have to worry about the 3rd story, 16th, 20th, 50th, 100th?
Probably not.
No, I'm dealing with a low-lying gas, and therefore I have to evacuate low-lying areas.
What? Okay, but you, I think, are assuming a high rise. If
I'm just throwing out there for whatever the hell you got. Height is an indicator.
Yes, but if you had like a 6-story tenement walk-up,
Okay.
I would have that building evacuated because that explosion in the basement was taking down that building.
Fine. Yeah, yeah, exactly. What I'm saying is purely chemically, that tactically might not be the best idea, because if the first floor falls, all the floors fall.
Right.
But I just want to throw the concept out there for you guys. So, yeah, there's a lot of things there to do that kind of thing. And, let's talk about the PPE.
Okay.
What are you thinking for this? Propane, it is used in a chemical suicide as an asphyxiant. We use it to burn our hot dogs and hamburgers ad nauseum. So it has 2 capabilities. What are you thinking?
I don't think there's really any other choice than structural firefighting gear.
I concur.
I really don't. I think that you'd be kind of stupid to put on anything else.
Why? Now, explain your. You're basically saying I'm dealing with a fire hazard. I told people just 2 sentences ago that people are using it for the toxic ability to kill people. Why do you not have a concern for that? Why is that not your primary concern? How's that?
So why is that not my primary concern? Well, if we sit and we really break down what all of our levels of PPE are for, none of our A, B, and C makes any sense, right? An A doesn't make sense because, one, even if we forget about the fire hazard, the toxic properties that you were talking about are only because it's displacing oxygen, and has absolutely nothing to do with the vapors contacting the skin. And really, the only time I'm wearing a level A is when those vapors are going to do something to me through my skin or burn my skin. Like, I'm worried about the toxicity of the vapors coming in contact with me.
Right.
A B doesn't really make sense because although I am protecting my airway, so that even if there is a large buildup of propane that happens to displace the atmosphere, which is not going to happen when you're outside, it doesn't have the fire protection. Right. So, and again, there's no splash. I'm still dealing with a vapor, and there's nothing that vapor is going to do to my skin that's going to harm me. So a B is still really out of the question. There's no splash. And a C is just ridiculous because I wouldn't not wear a mask.
Yes.
So even if we ignore the boom aspect of propane from strictly a chemical point of view, none of the 3 make sense. A 1994 suit still lands within the same argument, and I would go structural firefighting.
I couldn't agree more. I like your whole layout. Because you laid it out as simple as possible. That is, guys. That'll bring a tear to a glass eye right there. It's like, seriously, it is that easy, and you can be like, this guy's a wizard. There's no way. I find that picking out your PPE is the most complex thing that hazmat techs determine. And you know what the funny thing is we go into these classes and we're teaching this very concept, and people, we're like, hey, how many guys know what PPE to select on like every call? And like nobody picks up their hands. I'm like, you know who they ask? The hazmat techs. That's you.
Yeah, you're the one.
You're that guy. You're that guy. And they're like, oh crap. That's funny.
Yeah.
It's like,
but it is yet so like when you break it down, it is so simple on how to pick your PPE, but people just, I don't know what it is. They get wrapped up in their own mind. But that's a story for a whole nother lecture.
Yeah. If you have a moment, please head over to iTunes and leave us a positive review. And don't forget to check out the book, National Emergency Response Hazmat Drills, or NERD, on Amazon.
Well, that wraps up another episode of the HazMat Guys.
You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and our YouTube channel at the HazMat Guys. And take a moment to call our comment hotline at 843-628-1484 and go to www.thehazmatguys.com and sign up for the newsletter.
We seriously look forward to your feedback about any of the information provided, and we also want to hear about interesting incidents that you were a part of. So you can send us a note at feedback@thehazmatguys.com. And remember, any of the information that you share with us, if we put it on air, can always remain anonymous.
Remember, guys, don't just get on the job. Get into the job.